Yo, what's good, man? It's Brother St. Jones, man. I wanted to talk to y'all about a testimony, man, about how God miraculously fixed my vehicle. Um, it's a long backstory to it, but I'll just get with the general foundation of it, the main part of it. Um, Long story short, we moved to Atlanta. Uh, Simply because God has called me to ministry and He told me to come here. So I'm just obeying God by moving here. I was comfortable where I was at in Ohio. We took a 1.5-year pit stop in South Carolina because I know He wanted me to move south. So I tried to do something close to Atlanta, but ultimately I know He wanted me to move to Atlanta. Not my first choice of a city to live. It's just where God has called me. And so, backstory a little bit. I know He's called me to pastor. I wasn't sure how. Somehow I ended up with Apostle Jarvis Cooper, who is starting the fellowship of a fellowship on Sunday, September 8th in Stonecrest, Georgia, and I will be one of the pastors there. So that alone was showing me that, okay, God had a plan. Before I moved to Atlanta, I did not know Apostle Jarvis, aka Apostle BBJ. I did not know him until I literally the day before I moved to Atlanta, he called me. And he didn't know I was moving to Atlanta. He didn't know me. He just felt led to talk to me. We had a conversation. So long story short, I know I'm supposed to be here. We moved here. We stayed in the extended stay and stayed in a hotel for 6 weeks. We found a place. We were there month to month. The landlord would not give me a lease. He would not show me the bills. He would charge me all these different fees. He started adding stuff on. Long story short, it got super expensive. I couldn't work like I normally do because my wife had to have an emergency C-section. We have no family. We had nobody to watch our 5 children. So I had to be there to help her. Couldn't make enough money to sustain us, so we had to move out. Back into a hotel after being in a home for 3 months. We had to move back into a hotel. So currently that is our situation. We are living in a hotel, looking to get approved for a place. I've been applying. So keep us in prayer about that. But long story short, I started to question God, like, okay, am I supposed to be here? Because it's starting to look like no. Everything's falling apart. I got my children in the hotel. It just looks crazy. And so I went on a walk and I just said, God, what do you, like, I just started to question, like, I started really to, in my mind, plot and plan our exit strategy to go back to Ohio, where I had a successful business. I can get right back to doing it. We were comfortable. We have some family there that can help us with the children and help us with certain things. We have, that's just where home is. That's where my comfort level is. You know what I'm saying? And so I started to really plot in my mind to do that. So I went on a walk. I knew we had to check out of this hotel. I knew I had no money. My van kept breaking down on me. Battery lights on. The tire blew out one time on the highway. Then the battery lights started coming on. I bought a battery. It would drive for about 50 to 75 miles and then cut off on me again. And so I broke down so many times all over Atlanta that, man, it just started to get crazy. So I bought a battery from O'Reilly's with a 3-month warranty. I swapped out that battery probably 6-7 times. You know what I'm saying? Just trying to get us from place to place when we needed it. So then this particular night I was going to talk to God. I walked. And it was 10 something at night, probably later. I can't remember exactly the time. But I was walking, and then I sat down on this corner of this busy road. I'm right at the corner of this busy intersection. I just sit on the wall, and I'm just sitting there thinking to myself, like, God, what am I doing? This looks crazy. And some woman just stops and pulls over on this busy 4-lane street. She pulls over and just stops right there on the road and says, hey, I know this is going to sound crazy, but God told me to ask you if you wanted these tacos. She had just bought some tacos from some restaurant. And long story short, I knew it was God. So I was like, you know what? I need prayer. She got out and she said, that's what I do. Basically, she was just like, yeah, this is what I want to do. Like, this is prayer. I'm glad you asked. Like, she was excited to pray. She jumped out, started praying, man. Presence of God came. I'm crying, she crying. it's just, it's a crazy situation. I explained to her what's going on, how I'm anticipating going home. She's like, don't go home. I feel like the Lord said don't. She invited me to her church, and she's like, listen, make it to church. Even if all hell breaks loose, just try to get to our church. And so I'm like, okay, God, this must be you. The next day, we check out of the hotel, get in the car. It won't go. It's hot. We have no AC in this van that I'm in right now. We have no AC. It's hot. I got my children with me and a dog, so we got to go to McDonald's. I ain't got no money. I'm calling people. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do. And then we come across this other brother and his wife. My wife meets this lady. She's telling my wife how God called them to Atlanta, but right now he can't get a job. They're living in the hotel. They're in the same situation as us, right? And so I pray for him. He gives me a jump pack for my battery. Next day he gives me a ride to he gives me a ride to go get my battery so I can get the van started. A couple brothers and sisters in Christ that gave us a couple dollars, so I was able to get us in another room. So this whole past week, it was just a tough week trying to get places. So we try to get to this church. Car breaks down twice on the way to making it to this church, right? So we late. We about 45 minutes late. We get in. Everybody's greeting us like with so much love. Shout out to Royal House Chapel ATL. Showed us so much love. It's almost like they were waiting for us. Like, you know what I mean? The message was incredible. God, the Spirit moved. Man, I'm going up in the Spirit. The word is like right on point for our situation. He prophesied to me, prophesied to my wife, and all this other stuff. After church, the pastor comes up to me. He's an African brother, Reverend Lewis. He says, "What is going on with your car?" That's what he says to me. He said, "Get with Deacon Chris." Meanwhile, Deacon Chris has an auto shop. He says, "Bring your car to the shop. We will fix it." I'm like, what? Yo. I'm thinking to myself, okay. And so I'm like, all right, I'll bring it. Whole time I'm thinking, okay, they probably gonna charge me afterwards. But I'm like, I wonder if they know my money is low. I just paid for a few nights at a hotel. You know what I'm saying? After people had donated to us. Shout out to everybody who sold into us. We greatly appreciate y'all. You're sowing into a mission of God. I just want to let y'all know that everybody might not think that that's on y'all, but just know that I'm here being obedient to God and answering the call. And so when you sow into this good ground, God said he's going to bless those who bless us. He's going to curse those who curse us. So I just want to say thank y'all to everyone who sold, sent cash apps, PayPals, prayers, all that. Greatly appreciate y'all. So anyways, I take the car the next day. Car broke down twice because it's all the way on the other side of Atlanta. So it was just a struggle to get there. I get there, man. I'm sitting there for a few hours. He fixes my car, puts the alternator in it. It was the alternator. He and at the time when my car first broke down, the power steering went out. I mean, not when it first broke down, but this last time when I posted the video on YouTube and Facebook about the car being almost done for, because I've had it so long and I put a lot of money in it over the years, and it's got 190,000 miles on it. I'm just thinking, all right, it might be just time to get another van. Like it's over with. I don't feel like it. Somebody had quoted me $1,100 to fix it or something around there. It would just start to get crazy. And so, so I'm thinking, man, what am I going to do? I can't afford it. I was contemplating junking this van. Just trusting God for something different, something to happen. I'll try to go to some lots, man. My credit just ain't good enough. I don't have enough of a down payment. I don't have nobody that can co-sign for me. So I couldn't get no vehicle. I couldn't work. It was just bad. So anyways, fast forward, they fixed the van, fixed my AC in my van. We had been driving this whole summer. It had been upper 90s, I feel like, the whole entire summer down here in Georgia. And I couldn't, and he fixed my AC. He said there was a crack in the radiator. They JB welded the little crack that was in the radiator. Power steering pump is out. He said, bring it back next week, we'll fix it. He fixes it. I'm like, man, he's like, you're all set. Give me the keys. I'm thinking to myself, yo, can I tip you or something? He's like, no. He said, the church wanted me to do this. We have to look out for each other. This is on behalf of Reverend Lewis, the pastor. God bless. And so I walk out of there with a vehicle running. I'm in the vehicle right now, AC blowing, by the grace of God. So we have our vehicle, but our vehicle is back better than it was before everything happened. And so I just wanted to testify how God supernaturally connected me to someone who was willing to be used by God to be a blessing to us. And it was all because of God doing supernatural heavenly logistics to where I'm on a corner in a random place in Duluth, Georgia, outside the north suburb of Atlanta. And somebody helps me. I meet this woman who just was obedient to the voice of the Lord and just stopped and offered me some tacos and then prayed for me, and it led to me being at a place not only blessed me naturally or blessed me spiritually, they blessed me natural. They met a natural need by the grace of God, man. So that's my testimony. I pray that it encourages you. No matter how bad it gets, just trust God. I could have been like, you know what, forget all this stuff, God, I'm going home. I know I look stupid. I don't like asking people for money. Call it pride, man. I'm working on that, but it's just like, God, I was straight. We had multiple vehicles in the driveway at home in Ohio. My business was going well. I was about to purchase a home. I had pre-approvals in hand. I had offers on houses, and then I you know what I'm saying? And then the Lord spoke to me and said, "You've grown addicted to comfort and convenience," and started dealing with me and my wife about moving south. And so we're here now. It's been hard. It's been the toughest trial that I can remember, especially being that I have my children, but they're happy, they're in good spirits, and I know God is going to work it out. Keep us in prayer. We've applied for many places. We're waiting on callbacks. God is going to make a way. I just wanted to share this to encourage people. Please keep us in prayer. If you feel led to sow, my Linktree will be in the description. My Cash App will be in the description. All that PayPal information. If you feel led of the Spirit of the Lord to sow, to give, that will be a blessing. Again, we start Black Wall Street, new Black Wall Street Mall in Stonecrest, Georgia, September 9th, 12 p.m. worship service, God Core Assembly. We get started here soon, man, and I'll tell you, it's been like a fight to get us to start this ministry. So I know God has wonderful things. Bible study every Tuesday, Fruit of the Righteous, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Zoom link is available upon your request. What else, man? Just stay tuned. More testimonies. Me and my wife, we're going to get on to share testimony. My album drops Friday on all streaming platforms. It has been available directly from me for a donation of any amount. But now it'll be available on all streaming platforms Friday. It's called Terrible Treasure. It talks about, the theme is about what I'm going through now. How terrible it can feel in the moment when you're going through a trial. How embarrassing it can feel, how humiliating it feels, but it's there to humble you, to grow you. And the treasure that's on the other side of it is going to make you forget about everything you went through, but not in the way in which you forget where you come from. It's actually that the trial is what's going to help you have compassion for others going through, and it's going to help keep you humble, because you know the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. At any moment it can be stripped from us, so we have to be humble, we have to be grateful, and we have to care for others, give to others when they're going through, and be a blessing, man. So listen, man, God bless y'all. Thanks to everybody who was sowing into us, who's looked out for us, prayed for us, checked on us, rooting for us. God has great things in store. Stay tuned. I'm out.